Hello everyone. This is Amy with Simply Elizabeth Crafts, and I have two more projects for you this week that coordinates with this weekend, that coordinates with the Relaxing Waterside bundle. So the May Paper Pumpkin was a set called Lakeside Retreat, which coordinates with this right here. So I've created two projects. That was the in-person class one using just the Relaxing Waterside, but I've created two projects using the paper pumpkin as well as this bundle to create alternatives. Now, I did create these three cards here. Let's move this out the way. It might be a little easier. So I created these three projects right here, which are directly how the kit itself should be created. I always do those three projects or two projects or whatever they are. I always create them exactly how they're supposed to be, other than every now and then I'll change the sentiment on it because I need more masculine birthday cards. So I felt like this would be the perfect kit to do that. So let's dive in real quick though. I'm going to show you, this is what the stamp set looks like for the paper pumpkin. And then it also came with, I think it's garden green. Let me just make sure, because everything's in different color, or different languages now. But it should be garden green that you get in your kit. So for your ink spot. All right. Let's dive in. And this is the first card we're going to make right here. So of course we had to bring in the Adirondack chair because that's always awesome. And then to give it a little bit more of that lakey vibe, we had to do the canoes and the life jacket. So let's pull our card base out. We'll go ahead and fold that in half. There is a blog post for this, so you will have the measurements and the products used, so don't worry about that. Now we're going to, this is the, I think it's called Lakeside Retreat. No, it's maybe something retreat. Anyway, I can't remember now, but again, go look at that blog post. It'll have all the words and the names and all that I can't remember anymore. But this is from that designer series paper. So it has these fun little life preservers or life jackets, whatever you want to call them, on the back, which is kind of fun. And then it's got some of the paddles or oars or whatever you want to call for your canoe as well on it. So this is really good masculine fun paper as well. So we're going to start out here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some Pool Party. And then we're going to take this image, which comes in the actual bundle stamp set, and we're going to kind of stamp our pieces. Now this is going to sit kind of about here. So I want to make sure that I get a pretty large or pretty tall image there. Okay. And then we're going to kind of go here. And then we're going to go, and let's grab some grid paper so we don't mess up our card when we flip it over to put adhesive on it. And then we'll do there. And then we'll come over here and kind of go there. And then let's do a little bit there and there. And it doesn't have to be perfect by any means, so don't stress over that. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our pecan pie. We're going to kind of do the same thing, but we're going to do it with a little bit smaller piece. And we're going to stamp it off in some of those areas too. So it doesn't necessarily need to be full strength, okay? And then we'll do over here. We're going to do one up there, and then we'll do one here, and then we'll do there, and let's do there, and we'll stamp off, and we'll put kind of one there, okay? All right. Now, once you kind of put everything on, you're not going to notice that some of these are floating in the air, okay? I promise. All right, so I'm going to set that aside for just a second. We're going to stamp our sentiment since we have our pecan pie out. And our sentiment is going to say, "You are an inspiration," which is good for a friend, or you can do it as a Father's Day card. That was horrible, so let's flip it over. I'm going to see if I can get it in it. That is much better. And then last but not least, let's do our chair. Now, I already cut it out, so I didn't have to cut it out. But technically, you really should stamp it first and then cut it out. So we're going to see if I can aim it just right. This one might be a little easier to aim since it's darker cardstock. But we're going to see. Oh, not too shabby. I think that's pretty spot on. All right, so I don't recommend that though. I don't typically do it. Okay, so now what we can do is start putting our pieces together. And I've got to find my piece that I moved aside. So this is going to attach to our old olive. And the reason I picked old olive, because at first it was kind of like, I don't know about that. But this right here, these stripes are old olive. And I did the pool party because the other is pool party with the stamping. I did pool party because that color's pool party. And I think it kind of ties it all back together. Okay, now we're gonna flip that over. We're gonna pop it up. Nope. Let's pick some dimensionals. We're gonna use these two edges and then we'll grab another sheet. And let me grab two more. Then we'll stick this on our card base, and then we'll start pulling in our other stuff as well. I need to clean out my trash bucket over here. All right, so then we're gonna adhere that right about there. And I want to attach my chair. So what I'm gonna do with the chair is we're gonna actually use some of the mini dimensionals, because the mini dimensionals will mean that we don't have to cut them like we would the larger ones. All right, so we're gonna stick that there, that one there. Let me add one more right here. Now, for these two right here, we are gonna have to add a little bit of an edge because it is skinny. So we're gonna go there and cut that. So then we'll attach this one right here, and that'll just help keep those legs up. And then we'll get this one here, and that one can go right there. All right, then we'll take these backings off, and we'll go ahead and adhere our chair. And this takes me a minute because it's a lot of little ones, but I don't like it to go flat. So I always add extra. Always, always. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of line it up so that you can't see how those are floating. We can take that one up a little bit higher. There we go. Okay, then we are going to grab our oars or our paddles. We're gonna grab a glue dot because we need this one to be a glue dot there, a glue dot there, Okay, now, again, because we've got some skinny stuff going on here, we're gonna do many dimensionals, and then we're gonna cut some pieces from the edge. I do not like the adhesive to stick out. And we'll do one more. And that'll go right there. All right, and we'll set that one aside. This one is gonna have all dimensionals. So we'll cut 2 little pieces there. We'll put one up here, then one right about there. And then we'll cut or take the backings off of this one. And that one. Okay, and then this one is gonna lay like this, right across that arm of the chair. This one, after we take the backings off, we're gonna lay it, oops, making stuff fly around. We're gonna lay this so that it kind of sits about like this. Okay, next we're gonna do our little life preserver vest, and so we're gonna do probably right about here. So we need to stick a dimensional right here in the center, like right there, and then we need to do one down here in this corner. Oh. And then here we're gonna do adhesive. All right, and we'll stick that, and we actually could put one right there in that corner too. All right, so then we're gonna stick that there. Okay, next we are going to take our sentiment. We are gonna cut this end off down here. Then we're going to cut up the center and then cut in from the edges. And we'll get our little banner. Ta-da! Now, one thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna cut this edge there. And we're gonna put this on the back like this. And I'm gonna apparently just rip it, and this one's gonna go right about there. Okay, then we'll take off that back, because now what we wanna do is we wanna take our linen thread. We want to tie a little bow. You could tie a big one if you want. I'm gonna do it a little bit smaller than I typically do them. And then trim off the tails. Like that. Grab a glue dot. And then this is gonna sit, woo! It's gonna sit like this, right there in the center. And then we're gonna attach this to the edge of the old olive. Ta-da! And then last but not least, we're gonna take these fun little rock embellishments, and we are going to put them down here at the bottom of our chair. I think these are so fun. And we'll stick this one here. Okay, there we go. There is card number 1. So for our second card, we are gonna create this right here. Now I wanted to show you this die. So this die is from the Wonderful Scenes die, which is the coordinating die set for the paper pumpkins that come out in April, May, and June of 2026. So it has that little sign, which kind of reminds me of like a realtor sign, but also perfect for, you know, like those little fishing retreat cabins that you go to and things like that. It kind of also reminds me of like a bed and breakfast inn. So lots of fun. And then of course you've got some butterflies in here and some flowers. And then this says wonderful, and you have the fireworks there. Now this, I believe, coordinates with the one that is for June, which I just got in. So I'll be doing some alternatives for that this next week. So let's dive in and get this card done. I have struggled over the last 2 weeks with my voice. Mainly, it has come back this past week. But if I talk a lot, then it goes in and out. And I also still have quite a bit of some coughing fits. So that has been fun to recover from. And unfortunately, they are saying that the cough will last a lot longer than normal. So yay for that, right? All right, so let's attach this. Maybe. Let's see if I can get it to the corners. And we'll line that up there. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna just kind of lay this down right about there. Because what I want to do next is I want to take my Secret C, and I just want to stamp the bird image, and this comes from the paper pumpkin kit. So we're going to kind of go there and then kind of go right below it, kind of like that, maybe like that. There we go. And then we'll do over here like that. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead, while we're doing all that, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. Make sure I'm putting this in correctly. Yep. All right, so this is gonna say happy birthday. And it's just gonna go right in the center. Actually, we're gonna put it up toward the top like that. That's because we're gonna put the fish at the bottom. Okay, so we've got that done. Let me move these out the way so I don't put my fingers in them. And then let's take and put our, make sure I've got all my little pieces here. Yep, okay. We're gonna take our Secret C cardstock and we're gonna go ahead and put it on. So we're gonna attach it right about here. Let's go down a little bit more. There we go. Like that. Then now we can take this and we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna add dimensionals. And we're gonna use our mini dimensionals. And what I'm actually gonna do, so I'm gonna cut these edges here. And then we're gonna line that up and we're gonna stick them where it overlaps both the sign, the basic white and the pecan pie. All right, and then we're gonna come down here, stick it there, and then we'll stick this one here in that corner. There we go. Okay, then we can use our others and put those on there. Now I'm gonna do the mini dimensionals again because these areas are kind of small. They're skinny. So we're gonna do that. And then go up like this. Then we'll take all the backs off. And then we can go ahead and put this down. Trying to be careful so I don't rip it. It's got that wood detailing on the sign, and so sometimes I get a little rough with the with the cardstock. Okay, so now this is gonna sit right about here, and I'm gonna pull it up a little bit. Again, we're crafting. It's not the end of the world, right? I'm gonna pull it up though, because I wanna put the rocks and everything down below. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then this little piece came in the kit for the paper pumpkin. We're gonna attach that at the top. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of adhesive there. Oop, I meant to actually put that at the bottom. Let's see if it'll let me take it off. Probably not. Here's how we're gonna fix it. We're gonna take our thumb and we're gonna rub it until it comes off, because I don't want it to squish down and then stick to the card base. Okay, this is the part we wanna put a little bit of adhesive on down there at the bottom. Then we wanna take dimensionals and put them along the top like this. And again, we're going with the mini just because this one is easier to do that. And then this is gonna sit right here, kind of like it's the fishing cabin sign. Okay, then I have these 3 fish that we're gonna add to the bottom. These are actually from the designer series paper that coordinates with their relaxing water side. And yes, I did fussy cut them out. We're gonna attach them down here at the bottom. So we're gonna put a little bit of adhesive across here. And then we're gonna put a mini dimensional there. Like that. And then we're just gonna kind of lay it back on there just to kind of see if we need anything further. I don't think we do. So we'll take that backing off. And then we're gonna attach it here. Okay, then we've got this one. So we'll do this one across here. Let's grab a couple dimensionals. I'll put that on the bottom. And we definitely need one on the tail. We'll add some adhesive right there. See, my fingers are getting sticky. And then one more. All right, so this one's gonna go here, across there. And then this one we can make kind of come out from the bottom like that, okay? So we'll just put regular adhesive on all of that. And we'll stick it kind of there. Oop. I need to put that adhesive tucked under. Okay, so then we got that. Then we're gonna take this piece here. Now I put adhesive on it. This is a die from the Relaxing Water Side bundle. And we'll stick this right about here. Okay, then we're gonna take those fun little rock embellishments again, and we're gonna put one right here, and then we're gonna put one here, kind of underneath, and then we'll put another one right about here. And that one's gonna be a little trickier. There we go. And if you wanted, you could add some more. We could do another one here, kind of there. And then we could stick this one kind of right there. under that fish. And I'm going to take my scissors. That's a good thing about something pointy, is you can make it help you get things where you want them. All right, there we go. And there is our second card. So we've got these two, and then of course we have the one that we did the other day. All right, everyone, thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye.